welcome to my second snippet from Unbundling Innovation. Today's topic is about leadership and the role leaders serve in stimulating or inhibiting organizational innovations. While everything seems to fall on the shoulders of leaders, with innovation, things are not significantly different. I would say on the contrary. And here is my thought, my mantra for this episode. Leadership is at the forefront and at the core of innovation, and I cannot stretch this enough. Why is that? Because in the space of innovation, the role of leadership serves as an anchor for success. I don't believe in any kind of scenario where innovation just happens and leadership is not part of it, where employees innovate and convince their leaders that this is the way to go forward. Bottom-up only works in alignment with top-down. And we know by now that to propel an organization beyond its fundamental levels and day-to-day operations into a process of transformation, it's imperative to embrace a leadership style that does indeed champion innovation. Though a huge variety of leadership styles prevalent in modern organizations are seen, including servant leadership and coaching leadership, there is a widespread consensus that the transformational leadership model stands out as particularly beneficial for organizations that strive to foster agility, creativity, and innovation. Let's see, why is that? Well, first, because transformational leadership models advocate for fair distribution of authority within an organization, and they foster an environment where creative thinking, skill development, and teamwork are encouraged. This approach empowers that each team member will enhance their own leadership skills and will collaborate effectively towards driving collective change. In such organizations that emphasize the transformational leadership approach, responsibilities are shared between leaders and team members, challenging the traditional norms and hierarchy and ensuring that power isn't concentrated solely at the executive level. In other words, in a state of transformational leadership, the leaders are always prepared to hear that they are wrong, and they are genuinely open to continuously learn from their peers, from their colleagues, their employees, and from the customers. And I have my share of personal experience to veto for the transformational leadership style. And I am giving you today some short examples to illustrate how transformational leadership can indeed change an organization. I started working for the first time, really working in a corporation, in 2006. And my professional journey has always been characterized by this propensity to challenge the status quo. Maybe I was in a way a bit rebel. Embracing new ideas and being, the pick me, annoying person for every unknown thing project was and actually still is fundamentally part of my professional identity. And for many, at the beginning, it seemed like I was jumping from one thing to another, maybe without consistency in my career path. But actually, I was very curious, and many times I was questioning the established norms and challenged the conventional, with queries such as, why do we have to do it like that? And why can't we just try things differently? And of course, these inquiries earned me both admiration and annoyance from colleagues. But at a crucial point in my career, one of my managers from that time approached me with an opportunity. And he said to me, look, I'm sending you into a transformation project and you will be part of the innovation squad. What do you say? Well, I was the pick me person, so I said yes. And this marked my initiation into a space where leaders foster the culture of vision and audacity. And they envisioned a future that we as a group collectively were there to co-create. This was happening in 2016, exactly 10 years after I had started my career. And looking back, I might say that it almost feels like we took part in this experiment, in an experiment to test ourselves, to test a new leadership style, and to see where it all leads. I believe that at that point, no one knew the kind of energy and passion this experiment would unleash. The atmosphere in our group was constantly charged with ideas. We were always in this mindset of co-creating initiatives. We were collaborating. We were multidisciplinary people. And this incredible collective commitment to dream big was something that it's even today hard to explain it in words. But I know now that what fueled this innovation fever It was definitely the leadership team and their continuous support and curiosity and the embodiment of the new ways of working. But it wasn't all fairy tale and sugar, because the same inspiring and daring leaders were also ambitious and challenging business people. So I recall that quarterly mandates and initiative reviews were no walk in the park. Conversations were usually tough, and accountability was the name of the game. But their intentionality for greatness, for making a change, their boldness made us strive for more. And what I'm pointing out is that transformational leadership is not a house full of happy people, everybody doing what they like. No, it is a house full of happy people, everybody doing what they know best, but with accountability and purpose. And 1 year later, in 2017, we were having conditions for change established. More and more people were being onboarded, and in the movement had started in that organization. And what really happened? Well, looking back, what made the change live and carry on were these 9 things that came to my mind. 1, the leadership team had a vision which they communicated very clearly. 2, the leadership team never once told us how to do our job or what to do, but they always encouraged us to experiment, to test, and learn from failure. 3, we had resources allocated. We had time, we had money, we had talent, but not infinite resources. In a way, I would say scarce resources that pushed us in becoming more and more creative in the way that we were using those resources. The 4th thing is that we had autonomy. We had autonomy, ownership, and responsibility. 5, our team was multidisciplinary and collaborative. Anyone who didn't collaborate was out. 6, our efforts were rewarded. Innovations were correctly measured, not in number of sales, but in progress in achieving our vision. We became customer obsessed, and we were constantly trained in new ways of working. And 9, the last but not least, we were seeing results. My thought is that intellectual stimulation and inspirational motivation are the fundamental elements of the transformational leadership approach. But my journey through various professional landscapes had equipped me not only with these invaluable lessons in effective leadership, but also exposed me to instances where leadership fell short. And today, as I am consulting different companies, I bring with me not just the good examples, the good practices, but also the hard-earned insights from encounters with, let's say, less admirable counterparts. And this is not a shaming exercise. And as a leader myself, I know that the job is not easy. And many times I also fell short on my role. But we can equally learn from the good as well as from the bad examples. And as long as we learn and embrace change as leaders, I believe that we are on the right path. And to go also into the things that haven't been done correctly from my experience, I'm sharing with you that upon my departing from one of my previous workplaces, talking to the leadership team about my involvement and my role in the business, they expressed in a way their gratitude for my proficiency in deciphering chaos and navigating uncertainty. And they acknowledged this ability of mine to instill a sense of belief in the organizations, assuring them that no matter the disorder of the future, progress and perspective were attainable goals. But little did I anticipate that in the absence of their robust vision and leadership, my talent for thinking through chaos would lose its power, and it would leave me frustrated and demotivated. And this leads me to another story where I became part of a new organization. And as I attended to establish the similar guardrails that worked in another place, the very foundations that once supported success were crumbling. The lack of focus, the clarity, the decisiveness and vision, competed with toxic elements of micromanagement, closed-door discussions, and it made it almost impossible to innovate. And there was an absence of these critical leadership attributes that not only stifled innovation, but also eroded the trust and the motivation of the team. And if I might say that maybe there was some glimpse of transactional leadership there, in reality, I believe that I was in a situation of no leadership, no accountability, and no vision. So I left. Transactional leadership is in no way conducive to fostering intrinsic motivation and is widely recognized to impede creativity and innovation. So be careful in the ways that leadership is being executed in your organization. Leadership style is always a key predictor of employee, team, and organizational creativity and innovation. Leaders create the desire for innovation or creativity, or equally, they inhibit innovation and creativity, most of the times turning employees into treasure hunters in the form of bonuses and end-year reviews. Because in the end, you crop what you harness, right? I am also a dreamer. I believe in a world where all leaders can change and become better for themselves, for their people, organizations, and the whole business environment. Until we will reach that time, this is all for today. Thank you for listening to my snippet. The next one will be on the topic of innovation roles as a driver and lighthouse for innovation initiatives. Stay curious, be brave, and make an impact, because everything you need, you already have.